No hope of saving any of these plants down here. They are toast. Alright, so this is what we are up to today. We are in the Kubota M9540. We have the slasher on the back, and we're going through slashing off all of our zucchinis because the whole patch got frosted the other night. It has had another frost on it since, but it wasn't as bad. And the last few plants on every row didn't get frosted because they're literally 20 centimeters higher in elevation compared to 2 steps in, where the bushes look like this. Between the end of the row and where the water comes from is 200 meters, and then the rows continue 200 meters on the other side as well. These are 400 meter long rows. We can't water the whole row just to save a couple of plants on the end. So what we are doing now is going through and slashing off all of the zucchini plants like this. So we've done 10 rows here. We've just come back this row here, and now we have the rest of the patch to do. I thought I'd just jump out and show you guys what we are trying to achieve here. So we're trying to get the slasher as low as possible, to cut off these zucchini plants as low as possible, to make it easier for when we lift the plastic, that the plants don't tear the plastic as the plastic tries to come over them. It's really difficult to get the height on the slasher right because the ground isn't perfectly even. Every little variation in the ground elevation will change the depth of how low the slasher is to the ground. That's why you can see here some of these plants haven't been completely chewed off, and then others, like these here, have been completely chewed off. But soon the rest of the patch will look like that. So let's go and get into it and clean this patch up. This was supposed to be our next few weeks of harvest. These zucchinis usually go, what are we now, the 23rd of May. These zucchinis will usually go to mid-June, late June, and we've even had them through to July. It is extremely dry. We've had no rain. There is no ground moisture to hold heat in the ground. As I said before, this end of the patch is the better end of the patch. I'm not sure if the camera will actually show how burnt the zucchinis are down there from this distance away, but they look nothing like this. I'll jump back out at the other end and show you what they look like. Yeah, it's a pretty sad sight. We better get in this tractor and get this job underway. So you can see here how low we're trying to get. We're getting them off trying to get them off within an inch of the plastic. Unfortunately, sometimes it doesn't work out completely to plan. There's times where it sort of bounces down a bit and we rip up the plastic a little bit like this here, which we don't want to do, because what that does is makes it really hard to lift the plastic as we come to one of those bits that have been nicked by the slasher or have been a bit destroyed in some way. It just rips as the lifter tries to roll the plastic up. So we have to minimize hitting the plastic as much as possible while trying to get the plants cut down as low as possible. You can see the plants down this end here are a lot more burnt than the ones up at the end of the patch, at the ends of the rows. These ones down here have taken a lot more damage. They are completely cooked. And unfortunately, the majority of the patch looks like that. So we can't go too fast through here. The faster we go through here, the more the tractor will bounce up and down, making the slasher bounce up and down, and then we'll hit the plastic more often than we should be, which is not at all. It makes it hard when the bushes get to this size. They start leaning over into the next row because the bushes aren't staked up straight. Some of them take a pretty sharp curve and lay over straight after they leave the ground. So we are doing okay through here so far though. Yeah, it's pretty upsetting to have to be doing this early on in the season. Ideally, we would have had another month worth of harvest out of this crop of zucchinis. While we're down this end, I'll just pull up and quickly show you what we're dealing with down in this end. This is the lowest part of the patch. This is where they got hit the hardest. So let's go for a walk out. I'll show you what these look like. Bloody bright out here. I just turned the tractor off so you could actually hear what I'm saying. So we've just come down this row here. And these are what the plants are looking like down this end of the patch. You can see there's nothing left of them. There's no hope of saving any of these plants down here. They are toast. But that is farming. We will get this patch cleaned up, get the plastic lifted, and then this block of land behind me will sit for 12 months as a off-rotation paddock, and then we'll be getting ready to plant more watermelon and more zucchinis for our summer crops. Anyway, now that I've showed you what this end of the patch looks like, I will jump in the tractor and I'll see you next time we're speaking. Reality starts to sort of set in a little bit when you're out here actually knocking the plants over. Like, the patch is obviously finished, the frost took care of everything, but I feel like reality doesn't really kick in until you're out here with the slasher on and you're looking back over all the rows you've slashed, and that's when you really realise that the season's over. A hard pill to swallow to come out here and knowing you still got potentially, or knowing you still had potentially weeks or a month and a half or something like that worth of harvest left on these. There comes a time every winter season where our zucchini patch get frosted, and it's always a hard time, always a sad time, because usually there's always more we could have got off of them. But on the other hand, we did do a good job to get them to where we got them to. We got them through a lot of disease, and we got them through a lot of pressure with the pests, with insects and stuff like that. We were lucky in that regard, but it would have been nice to get a little bit more off of them, especially because the last week we have been picking them onto the ground. There's been a lot of money spent on these zucchinis and a lot of effort put into them over the last few weeks, trying to keep them going and get them all cleaned up. So to make sure that we've got them when those good prices come in. And then we only got that copper and sulphur spray on them the other day to control the powdery mildew. And we've just got the whitefly under control. And now we're out here slashing the patch in. So we've done a good job of managing the water in this patch this year, not overwatering or not underwatering. It's been perfect actually. We haven't created any wet spots, so there's no spots where there's like dig outs or dugouts from the tyres from the tractors going through earlier in the season. The rows, the wheel tracks in between the rows are still reasonably flat and not chewed up, so that makes our life a little bit easier when it comes time to doing things like this. I didn't think we'd be able to get up to this fast. I thought it would be too bumpy down here and the slasher would jump around too much and hit the plastic too often. But just as I say that, I just take a massive chunk out of the plastic. I should be sacked. We have 14 kilometres of plastic to cover. So it should take us a couple of hours to get over this patch. Looks like we're about quarter of the way into the patch now, and yeah, everything's going along pretty smoothly. We haven't taken too many chunks out of the plastic, which is good. We're not using auto steer. I do have the auto steer here, but for something like this, I'll just steer this. It's not that big of a job, and it keeps me busy, so it makes me feel important when I have to actually do some work. We've done veggies for a long time and laid plastic and all the different things that we do for a long time without auto steer. It's a bit of a luxury to have, and it does help us keep our rows a bit straighter, and when we're working ground up, it does help with efficiency to make sure we're not overlapping too much and just minimising the amount of up and backs we've got to do on a patch. But it's like anything really, once you've sort of got it and you're used to it and you use it for a while, when you don't use it, you kind of miss it. I'll turn on the auto steer. Bloody holding onto the steering wheel for no reason. I don't know. Okay, auto steer, take it away. Okay, that is the whole patch done. That's us for the season. With that done, guys, I am going to leave this video here. Thank you so much for watching, really appreciate it. If you liked the video, don't forget to chuck a like or subscribe to the channel if you want to see more, and we'll catch you next time. See ya.